Hello, folks. Welcome to the first chapter of Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo's travels around Australia. We answer the question, why is this mountain called Mount Warning? We fly through a bushfire, explore Australia's southeast coast, where we go whale hunting. We fly the Sydney coastal route, and I experience some embarrassment.
Narrow tower, I seem to have made a big mistake. Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo.
This is Ian Anderson, sitting in Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, my New Zealand registered light sport aircraft, a Tecnam Sierra Mk. I ferried Eve from New Zealand to Australia's Gold Coast airport on the 2nd to 4th of September via Norfolk Island and Lord Howe Island. She's being housed in a hangar belonging to Ultimate Aero at Boona, southeast Queensland. This video describes a trip we made from Boona down Australia's southeast coast. I had just returned to Boona on a commercial flight from New Zealand, flying to Brisbane and then catching a bus for the short trip to Boona. The video starts at 20 past 12 on September the 18th. Today we're headed to Shell Harbour Airport near Wollongong, south of Sydney, with a refueling stop at Port Macquarie. We're passing over the Tweed Range of hills in northern New South Wales, alongside Mount Warning, a volcanic plug, what's left behind after all the soft stuff has eroded away. According to Wikipedia, on 16th of May 1770, Captain Cook saw this sharp-peaked mountain lying inland from Cape Byron. Just 5 hours later, while sailing north, Cook was forced to change course to the east after encountering some dangerous reefs. And so the name to navigators, Mount Warning. It's about 0254 UTC, approximately 44 minutes from departure. The Byron Bay Lighthouse that we see, and we are passing over, lies on Australia's most easterly point of land. We're also in a mandatory broadcast zone associated with Ballina, an airstrip just south of here. At 2.5 hours into flight, I'm about to land at Port Macquarie on a long final for runway 21 and for a refuel. We'll have a brief glance at the town lying on the left. It's quite an attractive place. About a half hour later, we were back in the air. I had to pass by RAAF Williamtown Airspace. I opted to go to the west and behind the restricted zones, and this turned into a major detour for me. I could have taken the coastal track that you can see on the map. This is the dotted track. In fact, I flew along the Williamtown coastal on the return flight back to Boona, and for this I had to remain in contact with the controller at Williamtown approach. But going the way I did, on the way out, opened my eyes to the vast wild beauty of New South Wales.
Where am I now? Near Upper Bowman. Yeah. Flying to the turning point, where I turn for Sydney. Gosford is on my left. Getting close to Sydney. Big fire over there.
Visibility was substantially reduced in the smoke. It was like flying into a cloud. I was flying perpendicular to the plumes, so thankfully I was through it pretty fast. I could sure smell it in the cockpit, though. So just past Gosford, we came out to the coast and headed south towards Sydney's eastern side, the east coast. Even I had to stay below the controlled airspace. This was below 1,000 feet.
19er, QNH 1021.
All pretty uninteresting and pretty far out to sea. So on the way back, we flew along the Victor 1 coastal route. I'll report about this at the end of the video.
Here I am, landing Shell Harbor. Shell Harbor traffic, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, downwind 34, full stop.
Shell Harbor Airport is just south of Wollongong, a town famous for its history of coal, steel production, university, and anti-jack.
Fuel pumps on, fuel cocks on, instruments, T's and P's, hatches and harness.
So we spent our first night on the road at Shell Harbor. And next morning, we were off to Moruya.
Shell Harbor traffic, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, rolling 34, vacating downwind Moruya via the transit lane.
In my transmission, I was referring to a transit lane associated with Royal Australian Navy Nowra Aerodrome. Here's a warning. We must check to see if restricted areas are open to GA aircraft. I was going to use the transit lane through Nowra's airspace, but I failed to check the status of the areas, and this got me into trouble.
The aircraft departed Shell Harbor for Moruya Hotel Whiskey Delta.
Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, Whiskey Delta, go ahead.
Sir, you're in a restricted area and Narrow Approach is trying to contact us. You'll need to contact them 123.5 because where you are is active. That's why we're at 4,000.
Copy that, 123.5, thank you.
I'm on the CTAP and they're going to contact you shortly, Hotel Whiskey Delta.
Hotel Whiskey Delta, thanks.
Nowra Tower, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo. I'm in the transit lane heading for Moruya. I seem to have made a big mistake. Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo.
Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, now approach today. Remain overhead at Comerong Island, squawk 4626.
Remaining overhead, squawking 4626. Echo Victor Echo. Nowra Tower, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo. I'm just circling in my present position. Is that okay?
No, Echo Victor Echo, that will be available when able. Climb to 4,500. There's just some active airspace towards the south on the aviation route.
Climbing to 4,500 and tracking south to Moruya. Echo Victor Echo.
Echo Victor Echo, thanks. You're cleared to track southbound on the aviation lane at 4,500. Report passing 4,000.
Will report passing 4,000. My sincerest apologies. Echo Victor Echo. I'm a Kiwi.
Echo Victor Echo, no dramas, thanks.
Thank you very much. What a nincompoop.
Well, prior to departing Shell Harbor, I consulted the relevant en route supplement Australia for Nowra and read the rules for the GA route. From my reading of it, I mistakenly assumed carte blanche rights to fly the GA route. And if I had more closely consulted the National Aeronautical Information Processing System, that's NAIPS, AIRU report beforehand, I would have seen the relevant NOTAM for this. And I should have called Nowra delivery or approach anyway. Paraphrase Forrest Gump, stupid is and stupid does. Well, I'll learn my lesson. The New South Wales coastline is just one beautiful bay or beach after another.
Moruya traffic, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, 3 North Aerodrome, 1,000 4,500, descending to join downwind 36.
And Moruya town is about 6 kilometers upriver from the airport. Flight time was about 1 hour and 5 minutes from Shell Harbor.
Moruya traffic, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo finals, 36, full stop.
I got a taxi cab to Moruya town to deliver me there for the night. Avgas is available here.
Maps are all the way down.
I departed Moruya for Merimbula the next day.
Moruya traffic, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, downwind 36, vacating Merimbula.
Conditions were bumpy with a strong crosswind from the west. I landed runway 21 after about 50 minutes flight time. Just passing over my motel to the left side on approach here. About a 2 kilometer walk from the airport.
Oh, I made it!
I'm on the bridge that links the town to the peninsula where the airport is.
Across the bridge between the two sides. Look how clear that water is down there. What a beautiful place. It's like Raglan on steroids. Just walking across, so I'm staying over behind me between the Waters Resort. Quite cheap. I think it was about $180 or something per night. Last place I stayed was in Moruya at a pub, and that was terrible. So I'm staying in a much nicer accommodation tonight.
Next morning, I had a walk on the main Merimbula beach. I was about to depart north for Shell Harbor on the first leg of my return journey. I got talking to a local, and he asked me if I'd seen any whales. The answer was no, so I thought, why not hunt for them on the way back? I just stay low and look for any white water. This worked out really well.
Right over there, Ian. There they are.
Caution, terrain ahead.
Oh, look at that fluke come out of the water. Bloody hell.
500.
Look at that.
Pull up.
Oh, flipper in the air.
Terrain ahead.
Lying on its back. Look at that.
I encountered 3 groups of whales. They were easy to spot. All I had to do was look for some white water.
Well, Ian, that'll be the end of your whale watching. I think you'll have to hit in.
Time to head back to Shell Harbor. We'll call in and have a look at that historical Aviation Restoration Society.
Shell Harbor traffic, Zulu Kilo Echo Victor Echo, finals 26, full stop.
Shell Harbor traffic, Cherokee November Romeo Foxtrot is turning downwind for runway 26, touch and go. Copy the traffic, Shell Harbor.
Well, it's Sunday the 21st in the afternoon, and I'm landing at Shell Harbor. I spent a couple of nights here. The next day I visited a friend at the University of Wollongong, Professor Jeff Spinks, who's with the Faculty of Engineering and Information Sciences. We share a research interest in the field of electroactive polymers. That's where you put electric charge with rubbery stuff to make it move and sense and energy harvest. And then on the Tuesday, I dropped in for a visit to the Historical Aircraft Restoration Society Museum. Here you can see their larger exhibition that includes a 4-engined Lockheed Constellation. It's more than a museum. While you walk around on the tour, you see groups of engineers restoring aircraft in real time. One of my heroes is Charles Kingsford Smith, who, amongst other things, like completing the first trans-Pacific flight to Australia, piloted the first flight between Australia and New Zealand. This followed an earlier attempt in January by 2 New Zealanders, John Moncrief and George Hood, who sadly vanished without a trace in the Tasman. Here's a replica of the Fokker F-7 monoplane, the Southern Cross. The original Southern Cross is housed within the Sir Charles Kingsford Smith Memorial at Brisbane Airport. In the Historical Aircraft Restoration Society Museum, there's an original part of it, a propeller tip, left behind in an accident during a visit to New Zealand in February 1933 at Palmerston North Airport, formerly the Milson Aerodrome. There's some great stuff to buy here. How about a Canberra bomber jet exhaust shroud, only $2,000, a great support for a table in the lounge. Sadly, I couldn't fit this inside Eve's cockpit. After visiting the museum, it was time to begin the trip back to Boona. I filled up both wings as this was to be a non-stop 430 nautical mile flight. I had a tailwind, so I was pretty confident of my fuel, but planned for a diversion to Port Macquarie if I had to gas up. The highlight of the journey would be a traverse of the Sydney Vector 1 coastal route. And for this, I stayed below controlled airspace the whole way at 500 feet and communicated on the common traffic advisory frequency for Vector 1. So we pick up the trip just a little south of Botany Bay while I'm in the Vector 1 zone. Here's a container ship almost in the way.
Victor 1 traffic, Zulu Kilo, Echo Victor Echo, Botany Bay, mouth, 500 feet, tracking north along the coast.
Fast forwarding a little, we're just passing Bondi Beach, and we're about to come up to a quite a standout landmark, the Macquarie Lighthouse, just before we come up to the entrance to Sydney Harbour. You can see the harbour bridge in the background. About a half hour later, I was abeam Newcastle, and it was here that I entered the coastal route around Williamtown after establishing contact with Williamtown Approach. And then just over an hour and a half from departure from Shell Harbour, I turned the corner at Seal Rock and headed north to Boona in a straight line. Just over 2 hours later, and with 10 minutes to run before landing, I passed Mount Lindsay, another volcanic plug, left over from a giant volcano. I've resurrected a video of a landing at Boona from 2 weeks previous, just to wrap things up and show you the strip. In this video, we are landing on runway 04. We passed the Gliding Club building on the right. And we come up to the hangars and workshops of Ultimate Aero. So I hope you've enjoyed the trip. I want to say thanks to Bruce Stark of Tecnam Australasia, who's provided me with advice on my itinerary and answered all my questions relating to Aussie aerospace. So it's time to leave Eve at Ultimate Aero, and I must now get back to New Zealand on Jetstar. Got to get back in the saddle. See you for the next trip.